Saturday night main event is taking place on this Sunday, and we only have four matches so far.
Wait a minute!
All right, I'm just kidding. It's obviously on Saturday, but we only have four matches so far lined up for the show. But all the four matches are title matches, so it's kind of interesting. I don't remember the last time WWE ever did a show like this, where all the matches are titles. But we will most likely have a fifth match being announced on SmackDown, the go home episode of SmackDown. What are the outcomes of these matches going to look like for the show itself? Let's talk about it. So we'll start off with Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the undisputed WWE Championship. And I think this should be the opener for the show for a couple of reasons. First one being it's a repeat match. This is obviously going to be the third match I think we're having between these two. And also, I feel like Jey Uso versus CM Punk for the world title should be the main event of the show. The World Heavyweight Championship doesn't really get to be in the main event of any PLE, I feel, unless the Undisputed Championship is not actually being defended on the show itself. Another reason I feel this should be the opener is because Drew McIntyre is not going to win the Undisputed title, in my opinion. Unlike the World Heavyweight Championship match, where you will have a new champion for sure, or at least I hope we do, because it's WWE, you never know. Now, with this match though, I feel like Drew McIntyre is overdue a title run. And I think he's phenomenal because he's obviously got the looks. He's really good with on the mic with the promos, and he is fantastic in the ring. But WWE, we know how much they love Cody Rhodes, and he is the quintessential babyface of the company right now. So I don't see them uh, having him lose against Drew McIntyre here. And also, I feel like they're going to keep the championship on him until WrestleMania. But if Cody Rhodes is going to beat Drew McIntyre clean once again, because he already did it on WrestlePalooza, if that's going to happen, then there's really no point of having this match on the show at all, especially the way they built up to this show over the past couple of weeks. Now, you could actually have Randy Orton return here, which is what a lot of people are talking about, and you could have him cost Cody the title and then have maybe Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, that feud down the line. Or you could have him come to down to the ring after the match, maybe. You could have Cody Rhodes maybe beat Drew McIntyre once again clean, which they shouldn't do, but this is just fantasy booking, by the way. You could have Cody Rhodes beat Drew McIntyre clean once again, and Drew McIntyre really loses it after the match, and then he's beaten down on Cody Rhodes. And then he's probably even looking to like claymore him to the an announcer's desk once again, like how he did a while ago. But then Randy Orton's music hits and he comes down in to make the save, and after you have him get rid of Drew McIntyre, you have Randy Orton raise Cody Rhodes' hand in the ring, but then out of nowhere, boom, you get the RKO out of nowhere, and then you could set up that feud down the line. But also you could have Jacob Fatu return, and maybe he could cost Drew McIntyre the match if Drew McIntyre was actually the guy who attacked him in the first place. But again, my whole thing with this WWE's who done it with Jacob Fatu's injury is that why doesn't anybody just ask Jacob Fatu himself, like, who did this to you? Because when you look back at that segment, it's not like you found Fatu completely, unconscious or anything. He was he seemed very much fine, other than the fact that obviously he was bleeding from his mouth. And if he was bleeding from his mouth, obviously the attacker, got him from the front, so he would have seen who did that to him. But then again, I don't know, it's WWE. Why am I trying to use so much logic? My final prediction is that Cody Rhodes wins. Next, we have Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill, and I'm not really that interested in this match, to be honest, because of a couple of things. One, I feel like Jade Cargill should have already won the title long ago at SummerSlam, but Tiffany beat her clean in that match. And I know a lot of people are slowly starting to, feel fed up of Tiffany's reign. It's gonna be a year now, I think, since she's won the championship. And also, dude, they never really tell any compelling stories with her. The only thing she's done in her entire main roster run is feud with Nia Jax, and I don't think there's anything interesting that they're doing with Tiffany Stratton. And also, if she does retain the championship here, what are you going to do next with her? There's nobody else on the entire SmackDown roster, uh, who can really challenge her, to be honest. So I think Jade Cargill will win this match. But then again, as a heel, I don't know how wholesome it's gonna feel, because if Jade Cargill had won the championship as a babyface, then you could have empathized with her, and it could have been a really compelling story. But uh, I'm not too mad about this. It's I think the whole reason they turned Jade Cargill heel is so that they could finally probably put a title on her. But if they don't do that, then the entire Jade Cargill heel turn is going to be pointless. So my final prediction, Jade Cargill wins the championship. So next we have Dominic Mysterio versus Rusev versus Penta. So somehow we ended up with this triple threat match, didn't we? I don't know how I don't know how we got here, but I don't really mind this match. It would be interesting to see Penta with a championship, because I don't think he's won any titles so far since he's moved to WWE, has he? No, he hasn't. So it would be interesting, but I don't think WWE will do that. Now imagine Rusev winning the title, and he you could build him as a really dominant champion, and go on a run, probably until WrestleMania, and probably have Sheamus face him at WrestleMania, and then have Sheamus finally win his Intercontinental Championship there. But then again, I don't think that's the direction WWE are really going to take. I think Dominic Mysterio will retain the championship. And if he does, I think the next thing that they should focus on doing is Dominic versus John Cena, where you can finally have John win the title. So my final prediction with this one, Dominic retains the Intercontinental Championship. So that leaves us with Jey Uso versus CM Punk for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship. But before we talk about that, if you made it this far into the video, I'm assuming you actually liked the content so far. So please leave a like on this video. That really helps the channel a lot. And if you like wrestling content, and if you like movie content, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's move on. Before we talk about Jey Uso versus CM Punk, we got to talk about what could be the potential fifth match that's going to be added onto the show. I do have a couple of ideas in my head. Now, they could have added Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus the Kabuki Warriors to the show. And I say could have because if they wanted to do that, I think they could have announced that show on Raw, where they actually had the Kabuki Warriors come out and do the whole beatdown of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, and also Lyra and Bailey. But again, they could still do that on SmackDown, because Charlotte and Alexa are actually on the SmackDown roster. They could actually come out and cut a promo and challenge the Kabuki Warriors for the championship at Saturday Night Main Event. And if that match does end up happening, I don't think Charlotte and Alexa are going to lose the title, because you had them talk about how they are just a couple of matches away from the most number of title defenses by any tag teams before them. So I don't think they're going to lose the title. And I also see a potential triple threat tag team match in the future. Charlotte and Alexa versus the Kabuki Warriors versus Bailey and Lyra. So I think they should probably work towards that match somehow in the future. So this could be a possible match. And if it is, then I'm predicting that Charlotte and Alexa win. Now, another interesting thing they could do is not announce a fifth match for the show at all, but on the actual show, in the middle of the show, maybe a couple of matches down the line, you have Ilya Dragunov come out of nowhere and issue his US title open challenge. Now you could obviously have Carmelo Hayes come out and accept the challenge, or The Miz accept the challenge, because neither one of them actually got their match when Sami Zayn was doing the US Open Challenge, right? So you could do that. My prediction is that Ilya Dragunov will obviously retain so that he can continue doing the US title reign. And I personally love Ilya Dragunov. He's just so fun to watch. He's so entertaining. He's so good in the ring, man. I would keep the title on him until WrestleMania. But yeah, my prediction for that, Ilya Dragunov wins if we are going to have a US Open challenge on Saturday Night Main Event. So finally, we get to talk about Jey Uso versus CM Punk. Now, I don't think WWE are gonna put the title on Jey Uso. Obviously, after all the backlash that he had after, the whole battle royal on Monday Night Raw. And also he's kind of, doing his own thing with Jimmy Uso. Is he turning heel or not? His whole thing with Roman Reigns. I think there's a better story that they could tell with him over there than to just, probably just put a title on him out of nowhere. And I feel like CM Punk actually deserves the title more at this point. It's going to be like, what, 2 or 3 years since he returned to WWE, and he hasn't really had a world title reign so far, apart from that 5-minute world title reign he had before Seth Rollins cashed in on him. Now, I feel like there's a lot of shenanigans you can do with this match as well. I feel like there's a lot of shenanigans you could do with all of the matches, even the Intercontinental Championship match. You could have Los Americanos, coming, helping out Dominic retain the championship in that match. But yeah, with this one, look, you could have Braun Breaker come out and just dummy both CM Punk and Jey Uso, so you could probably not have a new champion at all until, I don't know, maybe Survivor Series or even longer than that. But I don't think that's a great way to go ahead with that, because at this point you do need a world heavyweight champion, especially after Seth Rollins got injured. And I think Punk finally having a world title reign is the best way to go about it. My final prediction with this one, as much as I'm afraid that the WWE are not gonna go either direction and they're not gonna have anybody win the title at all, I'm hoping CM Punk wins the match. So that is my prediction. CM Punk wins the World Heavyweight Championship. So those were actually my predictions for Saturday Night Main Event. But what do you guys think? Who's actually going to win the World Heavyweight Championship? Is going to be CM Punk or Jey Uso, or neither of them going to win the championship at all? What do you think is going to be the fifth match that's going to be added on to the show? Let me know down in the comment section. And also, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, peace.